Welcome, welcome. Please do take your seats. Fantastic. It's so wonderful to see some familiar faces, new faces, a wonderful audience here. Day 2 at Gitex at the G42 stand. My name's Amandeep, and it's my pleasure to be working with the G42 team. I hope sound is all okay. I feel like I'm reverberating around our little mini studio here. So here at G42, day 2 of Gitex, we welcome you all to look around our stand and familiarise yourself with the home of the intelligence grid. We've got many screens around the particular booth here, and our audience are members of our team. They can help you understand the intelligence grid to further dive deep into this subject and many more subjects. I'm very pleased to welcome you all to a special session now with the CEO of Presight, Thomas Promoter, and he's going to be joining me to look at the transformative power of enterprise AI assistance.
Thank you,
So
sir.
without further ado, my wonderful audience here, please do give Thomas a big round of applause as he joins me here on the studio. Thank you.
Sorry.
I'll be there when this is sorted.
And while you set up, Thomas,
Yeah,
please,
please.
take a hot seat.
Yes, you
the
too.
most difficult thing about this conversation is getting up on this
Yeah,
stool because
and
I
I'll
am
hold
the
this stool.
size of an elf,
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Right, now that we are comfortable, Thomas, congratulations on Presight. First of all, to our audience who may be unfamiliar, how would you describe it in 2 sentences?
Well, I think for one, the booth is right here, so we could describe more than a sentence and you should visit, but Presight is the leading big data analytics and applied AI company in the region. I think that's fundamentally, and what we care about is when you apply technology and where is the impact that we derive out of it. I think that's a big part of the conversation we're going to have today.
So a leading AI data analytics company, and when was it formed and why was it formed?
So it's founded,
We
it's,
are
it's the
founded
sound of
of-
it, yeah? Well, Presight is founded in 2020. Right, a big part of it is the genesis of the G42 lineage. So today you see G42 as a large technology champion for UAE. A big part of G42 started with analytics. And the heart of Presight was G42 analytics that became Presight. Presight was formed to deliver applied analytics to UAE. Big part of it, we were the platform that managed the pandemic. So during the pandemic, a big part of big data analytics was used to determine how we move people. Because if you notice, UAE did not shut down. Abu Dhabi has a set of COVID management practices, and technology was used for that. When Dubai Expo was open, Dubai Expo used a set of Presight technologies to manage 24 million visitors that were coming in and going, while at the same time maintaining law and order, while maintaining visitor safety, while maintaining COVID and health practices. So that was the lineage of that. Today, Presight builds national platforms across UAE for the national crisis emergency management. We build national platforms for our national audit committee. We built a platform to manage Emiratis Talent Competitive Council work to make sure that we profile Emiratis the right way. So over the last 4 years, we have become a national nation builder, accompanying UAE, but also at the same time, since 2022, we expanded across to 14 countries, taking a big part of what UAE has done well and sharing it with countries like Angola, the Maldives, Tanzania, Kazakhstan, and Azerbaijan, to name a few.
That's fascinating, and I really appreciate you taking us back to the origin story and the conception of Presight. The fact that you were formed in the heat of the pandemic, you're absolutely right. The UAE did not close down, and events like this and conferences like this were one of the first to open up around the world. So to hear now that Presight was instrumental in allowing the UAE not only to function here, but also to welcome the world during the pandemic, that's really important. There's some interesting threads that you've already introduced. If I may pull on one of them, I'm very conscious of us sitting here at the home of the UAE. We are both proud to be living here, collaborating with our fellow brothers and sisters, the Emiratis. You mentioned Presight's integral role in Emirati talent development. Let's expand on that before we get into some of the technical details.
So I think fundamentally, if you look at human resources, human capital and profiling, a lot of it in our work, we meet friends on LinkedIn, we look for a job, we look for internal promotion, a lot about is matching. And when you match based on superficial data, there's only so much you can do. But if you have the ability to really profile a person's experience down to the details against a job that's available, you get higher matches. And this is exactly what we're doing for the Emirati Talent Competitiveness Council. Finding the right Emirati with the right skill set in the right location for the right jobs that can be done. With that, the council is able to profile Emirati better and place them better. But at the same time, global organizations are coming to us to ask for the same. I have 5,000 resumes that I need to go through. I'm sourcing for talent acquisition. How do I find and fill key vacancies as fast as I can? But more importantly, when I fill them out, what's my retention rate? We all ask ourselves, like, fill up someone, what's the retention rate that's a fit for job? And then thereafter, how many promotions can I give this person internally? And all this is a database, it's a data-centric question. And today, AI can help you churn through that level of data, that level of multi-source information very quickly.
I think that's a fantastic way for us to actually delve into the subject. And I think what it really kind of underlines is that organizations like Presight, you are a role model, not only here in the UAE, but you are allowing the UAE to be a role model for the world in the way that you are leading the way. Now, let's delve into some of the details of how you're leading the way. When we speak about the transformative power of enterprise AI assistance, what do you mean exactly?
I think first and foremost, I'm guessing everyone uses ChatGPT. Which
Guilty?
guilty? Well, it's a good choice. You use Perplexity. Where is it on your phone? Is it on the first screen, on the second screen, or third screen?
It's on my first screen.
Right. This is an evidence that we're adopting this new technology. When I first started, GPT was my fourth screen because I was testing. I wasn't sure what I'm going to do with it. But as the months go, I promote it, and now it's like, it's next to WhatsApp, right? It's because I've adopted the fact that I can have an assistant that give me information much easier than I would if I gone by Google search, if I asked someone. And this is the basis of what enterprise AI assistants are. GPT, many people will care about, is my data being shared? Is it being trained? And there are organizations today that blocked out GPT. It says that you can't put proposals and say, I don't know where it's going. What we have done is to take that in-house. So an enterprise AI assistant, if you would, it's a closed network, a closed source GPT model, a closed source large language model that only understands and works within your organization. It learns about what you have. It helps you give a perception of what you may not see. So when you look at assistance in life, it's about the organization the information It gives you a perception. But it's also about the word that you do not know because you do not have the access of that data. So what we have designed is to be able to bring that together in what we term as a enterprise AI assistant powered by generative AI. There's two versions of that can be consumed. One, completely offline. So for people who are worried that information get outside the organization, that's available. And then we've launched a UAE sovereign enterprise assistant as a service. And that is for all our organizations who wants data residency here. What it does for you, it takes the whole concept of generative AI and what GPT could be into the world that you live in. So today, my HR team would use it for talent sourcing. Instead of reading 5,000 resumes, they will put it through the enterprise AI and it says, find me the top 10. And they do it in a matter of minutes. And with that top 10, the talent acquisition team will then be able to do better value questioning, value sourcing with it. It has reduced time for them from days to hours to minutes. That's one way in the HR space. And then you can think about it in legal, in marketing, and I'm sure many content creators are doing that. They are not replicating and taking the content generated by the AI, they're building on top of it. So the question we have today is, what can I do more with AI and not, am I afraid that the AI will replace my job? So that's really the genesis of where we feel enterprise AI assistant is going to be.
So you're saying one of the ideas behind Presight was recognizing that there was a data issue. The information that was being put into platforms like ChatGPT could be compromised. So Presight brought it in-house. You said there's a UAE version of it as well.
Yes.
And so that was addressing a concern. And so from a concern became an opportunity.
Yes.
But there's also a question of if asking a machine to sift through all these resumes, is there a bias perhaps that gets built into that selection process that maybe a human eye would be identifying and be trying to mitigate against. And of course, humans are subject to bias as well.
Yes.
But how do we make sure the machines don't have that bias?
I think a big part of it, biasness comes from also the questions that you ask. You set the right questions, a set of answers come back. We're not allowing an AI agent to make the decisions. We're allowing an AI agent to decipher and shorten the time to search. Of course, when you train with biasness, so there are two parts of it. If you walk around the G42 booth, you'll see Inception. Inception was the creator of JACE, the world's largest and most advanced Arabic model. And in my time with the Inception team, one thing they taught me, when we use a regular GPT, it's trained in the English language. So it thinks in English, translates to Arabic. So there will be certain biasness from. JACE was trained in Arabic. So it thinks in Arabic and it works in Arabic. So that counters the balance of a bias. Then today, in today's world, we're no longer looking at one GPT model or one LLM. Right? For many of you, you'll be familiar with the RUG. It looks at multiple LLMs and picks the right LLM to use. So the biasness can be balanced out. But fundamentally, like I said, we're not replacing the human. I would not like to be recruited by AI, but I would like that my experiences down to the details of the years I've spent in Hong Kong, the work I've done in media show up quickly so that the conversation I can have with the recruiter will be more meaningful.
I think that's super fascinating. I really appreciate you taking the time to actually clarify this issue for us. Because I think what you touch on, Thomas, so perfectly, you're such a wonderful speaker. You notice that still 4 years after the inception of Presight, and at this level that we are with AI infiltrating almost every aspect of our life, there's still so much misinformation, misconception. And you mentioned there, you still have to utter this sentence, AI will not replace my job, AI will not replace me. Why do you think we still are having to grapple with this issue? What is it about us humans still questioning this?
I think it's down to the basis that your chat GPT was on your fourth screen and now it's on your first. It's just a journey we take. You know, with internet, there was a time we were afraid of so many things. We looked at e-commerce that will replace brick and mortar, but today we still have brick and mortar. I think it's just a journey we take. I believe that AI is one of the ultimate invention that human will finally do. I believe that AI will not replace humanity, but AI will enhance. I give you an example. We were in a conversation with a hospitality group, and they wanted to understand across millions of visitors that come at the door, you know, what is your preference? Do you like a hard pillow or soft pillow? Do you normally come with kids? You know, would you prefer champagne in your room or you don't drink? You know, all that information today is available in CRM systems. And you type and you churn and you look at all the system and you try to gather. But today you can put an AI engine, an enterprise AI for hospitality. In this concept we call hyper-personalization. I'll come in and say, hi, Mr. Pramotam. By name, it pulls out all my stays, it pulls out all my preferences and my behavior with the hotel. And it says, hi, I think that your son's birthday is coming up. Can I do something for you? Can a customer service, a very good guest relationship officer do that? They can. But sometimes it's subjective. You meet a good receptionist, you meet a good concierge. But with AI, you can bring that level up. And then all the person needs to do is say my name, understand my track history, get the recommendation, and have a conversation with me. And this will pull data from CRM systems, invoicing systems, loyalty program systems. And that is really what AI does for you today.
And I love the way that you apply something which otherwise can seem quite theoretical to real life examples, Thomas. I know the airline industries, they're looking into this as well. Certainly when it comes to if you're buying a higher class ticket,
Yes.
they might be able to deliver this type of service. So it's super fascinating. I am going to allow our very wonderful audience to ask you some questions as well. We've got some roving mics, so have your thinking hats on. But just to ask Thomas a question before we delve into that. You've got so much international experience and wealth of expertise in this area and beyond as well. What is it from that experience and your intellectual engagement with a country like the UAE that makes this place so special now for G42, for Presight, for this intelligence grid to actually be so active and to be seen as a role model for the rest of the world?
That's a fully loaded question. I think we can all agree that the UAE's leadership has an amazing vision. The Ministry of AI established 2017. His Highness Sheikh Taknoon was a big champion of AI. We started the AI Ethics Council much earlier than everyone else. But a big part of it is UAE doesn't want to be a user of technology and AI. UAE has taken the step to be a leader in AI, which is why you see G42 being an epitome of that. You see Hasna building the largest data centers in the world. We managed about 350 megawatts across the GCC. You see Inception building the first most Arabic, the world largest and most advanced Arabic model. You see Core 42, if you meet them, running the three largest supercomputer for learning and inferences in the world. You see Presight as an applied technology that brings all the good work that we've done in Abu Dhabi to the countries around the world. All this is really on the platform of the UAE, right? Simply because the vision is we do good for ourselves and we do good for others. The work to do AI for good and AI for humanity is embedded in everything that we do. And if you walk around at least the G42 area, and actually most of the large technology pavilions, you would see this is across. Technology is designed for the good of mankind. Can technology be tweaked and used in other ways? Yes. But fundamentally, if you look at where we apply ourselves, it's really for bettering humanity, building more inclusive workforce, more inclusive communities. And I think this is a big part of UAE's DNA. And a lot of us that have been fortunate to work here, to live here, to work for the leadership, this is exemplified in every single one of them. And I think that's what drives us to where we are today.
I know that was a big question, but that was a wonderfully big answer, so I do appreciate you taking that on, Thomas. Audience members, please don't be shy. Does anyone have a question for Thomas? We can hand yes, perfect. Can you get a mic to the gentleman? You take my mic if you want.
Well, you can answer the question.
Thank you. Thank you for all the great insight. I have a simple question around knowledge management system. So, if enterprise have a very mature knowledge management system, does it mean that it's easy for them to get to an enterprise AI sooner than later? I mean, which means that they have structured their knowledge, information, wisdom, all that in place. So, does it make sense to build a better knowledge management system first and then move towards the enterprise AI scenario?
Yeah. I think if you already have a very strong KM, a very strong knowledge management base in the organization, you are on a good start. But if you don't, and you think that I need to build one first before I leverage on the power of AI, then you're going to lose time. Because the AI can help you build a knowledge management system. Like one example, we have a client that does due diligence. They don't have a knowledge management system. They have a folder of 800 files, PDF, Excel, news article, Word. And if I say, let's start with categorizing every one of them, creating the metadata around that before I train the AI, it will be weeks before I get one done. But today, with the platform that we launched, with Vitruvian, we take 800 files, put it into the enterprise assistant, and I'm able to start querying the content of the file. Not just how many mentions of Presight is there. It's about deep question. What is the IRR of the 3 investments they made over the last 3 years? You know, what is the baseline of the first 2 products they launched, and at which point in time they did hit an inflection of 12% margin? The questions that are deeper, that requires you to read 8,000 pages now goes away. So it's not about one or the other. If you have it, it's fantastic. If not, the AI is going to help you with it.
Great question. I love the fact that you dove into a technical question there. Any more questions from our audience? Yes, there's a gentleman right there. Are you okay time-wise?
I'm okay. You're freewheeling this quite well.
Yes.
Thomas, thank you very much. Mr. Thomas. Wonderful session. So, between you and G42, overlap because you see these similar. For example, I have a client who's. Sorry, can you hear me now? Okay. So I have a client who's using ChatGPT for chat products. And I'm thinking in terms of you guys to bring the services to the floor. So I'm thinking, should I talk to you or should I talk to G42?
Good question. So first and foremost, Presight is a G42 company, right? As may we be listed, G42 is still a majority shareholder. If you look at the construct of G42, and if you walk around, and not everyone is in this booth, we have a space vertical, which is Space 42. I'm taking a bit of time to explain this to everyone. There's Space 42, which looks at everything geospatial mobility and satellite, so upstream, down and downstream. We have M42, which is our complete healthcare business. We have Core 42, which is our infrastructure and GPU as a service and Microsoft Azure business. We have Kasna, which is our data center. We build, we develop, and we operate data centers. And then we have Presight, where we apply the technology and the AI, the LM models that we do, right? So that should answer your question of who you should speak with, right? But G42 as a group is a national AI champion. And what makes us different is that it's because we have the entire ecosystem, right? Your enterprise GPT, your chatbot will require compute, require learning, we can offer it. It requires use case application, Presight has it. Right, so we bring together the best of all worlds to make sure that your initiative and your project is successful. Right, and honestly, it doesn't matter who you talk to. You're going to get the best answer that will suit your initiative.
Fantastic. We're going to take one more question and then we're going to wrap up.
So my question is, how do you prioritize between building AI capabilities versus actually solving real world problems? Because it seems like if you don't build the capability, you lose out. And if you try to solve a problem, but if you build a capability, then you're almost searching for the use cases rather than the other way around. That seems to me an interesting dichotomy, which is around, and I'm not quite sure how to solve that problem.
Yeah, no, you're right. We don't want to be a technology looking for a problem. That's the worst part of it. You know? And we're still, we're a publicly listed company, so the shareholders say like, are you making money? And you can only make money if the technology is of value to a client. If you look at the work that we do, we look at a few areas. We look at public safety. How do I make the city safer? It's not what technology would I use to make the city safer. I will make the city safer with a breadth of technology that I can get my hands on. Right? Today, AI is the emerging and the hottest topic. Really, tomorrow you don't know where it's going to go. 3 years ago, we used natural language processing, machine learning, big data science as the part. Years back, we used CCTV. That's the best thing we have, black and white CCTVs. But the question was the same. I want to create a safer city for my citizens. We signed with Mazda. Mazda is the global renewable energy based out of UAE yesterday. Their question was, I think they have about 50 gigawatts of renewable power around the world, wind turbines, solar panels. I need to keep production running. I want to know which of my assets are up and which of my assets are down. It's not a question about technology. We take the challenge. We are going to build for them a IoT-based, generative AI-centric asset management platform that will allow them to bring in all the wind turbines, all the solar panels, so that they know where things are. Then the AI comes in and say, now the CEO of Mazda can walk in and say, I would like to know in Latin America, what's my total production for the next 6 months? And in view of the weather inclement situation is going to come, what farms should I shut down and how should I replace? There's no tech in the question, right? So I think for all of us as technologists, you need to first understand the problem and then decide what technology you want to use. Sometimes the best tech may be an established and mature tech, because in countries like Africa, in emerging markets, we may not get access to the best connectivity, the best hardware, the best GPUs, and we still need to rely on technology that works. But at the heart of what we do, at the heart of what Presight does, is where the applied technology will actually make impact to the work that we deliver. And honestly, my team has a strong can-do attitude. They will take whatever technology they need to make sure that the impact is done at the end of the day.
And we appreciate the fact that you have a very can-do attitude in taking part in all of our questions with our audience here today. I love the fact that we've had a very broad scope. We've talked about the role that Presight plays here in the UAE, but also around the world. We've had a little bit of an insight into your life there, Thomas.
Yes.
I feel like we definitely delve into that for future reference.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the CEO of Presight, Thomas Promotion, for taking the time out to speak to us today. And our impromptu questions, we'll have you back on the hot seat here
All right.
again. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. Thank you everyone. Okay, worked out well.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a precursor to our podcast
Yeah, it's on Thursday?
on Thursday.
Okay,
Yes.
what time is it on
I
Thursday?
believe I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, me too.
No.
So we'll find out.
We'll make sure
We'll find
we
out.
speak to your team. Thank you,
Yeah,
Thomas.
but
That was
thanks for that.
brilliant.
You-
That was really